Hey there, binge watchers. Welcome back. Today we're talking about something that'll make you feel personally responsible for climate change every time you watch a cat video. We're discussing what actually happens when you press play on Netflix, YouTube, or Spotify. Spoiler alert, it's not magic. It's millions of computers burning enough electricity to power a small country, all so you can watch that show you've already seen 4 times. And before you think, oh, it's just the internet, it doesn't use real resources, let me stop you right there. The internet isn't a cloud floating in the sky made of dreams and data. It's warehouses, giant warehouses, full of computers, humming away and generating enough heat to slow roast a buffalo. So buckle up. We're about to follow my movie request on the most unnecessarily complex journey since your Amazon package went through 6 states to travel 3 miles. So here I am, sitting on my couch, ready to watch a movie. I pick up the remote, scroll through Netflix for 45 minutes because choosing is hard, and finally click play on the same movie I've watched 8 times. In that instant, my innocent little click starts a chain reaction that spans continents. My request shoots out of my device, bounces through my router, travels down cables, hits multiple servers, and eventually reaches a massive data center, possibly thousands of miles away, all in about 200 milliseconds. And you thought ordering pizza delivery was complicated. My request first hits my internet service provider. You know, the company I pay too much money to for speeds I never actually get. They route my request through their network to find the fastest path to Netflix servers. But here's where it gets interesting. Netflix isn't sitting in one building somewhere. They've got content delivery networks, basically copies of their most popular content stored in servers all over the world. So that movie I'm watching might be coming from a server in my city, my state, or halfway across the globe. It's like if McDonald's pre-positioned hamburgers in strategic locations around the world just in case you got hungry. Except instead of burgers, it's the entire catalog of content you'll scroll past without watching. Here's something that'll blow your mind. 95% of the world's internet data travels through cables at the bottom of the ocean, not satellites, cables, physical, actual cables sitting on the ocean floor like the world's most boring sea creatures. There are over 400 submarine cables crisscrossing the planet right now, stretching more than 800,000 miles. That's enough to wrap around the Earth 32 times. And they're about as thick as a garden hose. Your entire YouTube addiction depends on tubes the width of your thumb, sitting at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Sleep well tonight, knowing that sharks occasionally bite these cables. Yes, really. My streaming can be disrupted by a shark having a snack. These cables use fiber optics, which transmit data using pulses of light. Light. We're literally sending movie requests across the ocean at the speed of light, bouncing through glass threads thinner than a human hair. Each cable can handle up to 200 terabytes of data per second. For context, that's enough to transfer the entire Library of Congress in about 2 seconds. And we're using this technological miracle to argue with strangers and watch videos of people falling down. Humanity's priorities are clearly in order. All right, now we're getting to the real main character of this story, data centers. These are massive buildings, sometimes the size of multiple football fields, filled with row after row of servers, blinking away in the darkness like a computer science student's fever dream. Netflix alone operates in data centers on every continent except Antarctica. Google has over 30 data centers worldwide. Amazon Web Services, even more. We've built an entire civilization of server farms just to store pictures of actual farms. When my movie request arrives at a data center, here's what happens. The server locates the video file, which has been compressed and broken into thousands of tiny chunks. It grabs the first few chunks, encrypts them so I can't just steal the movie, and shoots them back to my device. Meanwhile, it's predicting what chunks I'll need next based on my internet speed and device capabilities. The algorithm knows me. It knows I'm going to watch the whole thing, even though I said just one episode. Each data center processes millions of these requests simultaneously. Right now, Netflix is handling hundreds of millions of streams at once. That's a lot of people ignoring their responsibilities together. Here's where it gets energy intensive. Computers generate heat, lots of heat. And when you pack thousands of them into a building running 24/7, you get temperatures that would cook a turkey in minutes. Data centers need massive cooling systems to prevent their servers from becoming very expensive bonfires. We're talking industrial air conditioning, water cooling systems, and in some cases, facilities built in cold climates just to use the outside air. Microsoft literally sank a data center in the ocean to keep it cool. They put computers underwater on purpose because apparently that's easier than turning down the AC. All right, let's talk numbers, because nothing ruins entertainment like cold, hard math. Data centers worldwide consume about 200 terawatt hours of electricity per year. That's roughly 1% of global electricity demand. 1% doesn't sound like much until you realize that's more than some entire countries use. The entire nation of Argentina uses less electricity than the world's data centers. Every time you stream a movie, you're contributing to an industry that outconsumes Argentina. Let that sink in while you watch your 5th episode tonight. Let's break down streaming specifically. Watching 1 hour of video streaming uses between 50 to 150 grams of CO2 equivalent, depending on your device and video quality. That's roughly the same as driving a car about a half mile. Doesn't sound terrible, right? But here's the thing. Netflix users watch an average of 2 hours per day. That's 365 hours per year per user. Multiply that by Netflix's 230 million subscribers, and you've got 84 billion hours of streaming annually, just on Netflix. Add YouTube, Spotify, Disney+, HBO Max, and every other streaming service, and we're looking at an industry that generates more carbon emissions than some countries' entire transportation sectors. Here's something interesting. The resolution you watch at makes a massive difference. Streaming in 4K uses about 4 times more data than HD and 10 times more than standard definition. So every time you insist on watching in 4K on your phone, a screen the size of a playing card where you literally cannot see the difference, you're using 10 times the energy for zero visual benefit. Your eyeballs cannot perceive 4K on a 6-inch screen, but the data center still has to send all those pixels. You're essentially paying extra to heat up a server room for no reason. Now you might be thinking, well, at least my music streaming is harmless. Yeah, about that. Spotify has over 500 million users streaming about 25 hours of music per month each. That's 150 billion hours of audio streaming annually. The data might be smaller than video, but the volume is absolutely massive. Here's a fun comparison. Streaming a song 27 times uses more energy than manufacturing and shipping a physical CD. So if you've listened to your favorite song more than 27 times, which you absolutely have, you've already exceeded the environmental impact of just buying the album. And here's the kicker. Vinyl sales have been growing for years because people think they're being more authentic and environmentally conscious by buying physical media. But vinyl is made from PVC plastic, and the manufacturing process is incredibly energy intensive. So the choice isn't between eco-friendly vinyl and evil streaming. It's between 2 different flavors of environmental impact. There's no ethical consumption under late-stage capitalism, but you knew that already. All right, enough doom and gloom. Let's talk about what tech companies are actually doing to address this. And surprisingly, it's not nothing. Google claims to have been carbon neutral since 2007 and is aiming for 24/7 carbon-free energy by 2030. Microsoft has pledged to be carbon negative by 2030 and to remove all the carbon it's ever emitted by 2050. Netflix is working toward net zero emissions. Amazon, owner of the world's largest cloud computing platform, achieved 100% renewable energy in 2023, 7 years ahead of schedule, and is targeting net zero carbon by 2040. Now, are these commitments perfect? No. A lot of carbon neutrality comes from buying carbon offsets, which is basically paying someone else to plant trees so you can keep polluting. It's like paying someone to exercise so you can eat more cake. But to be fair, these companies are also investing heavily in renewable energy. Google and Microsoft are among the largest corporate purchasers of wind and solar power in the world. Apple powers all its facilities with 100% renewable energy. Is it enough? Probably not. Is it something? Yeah, actually. The tech industry is moving faster on sustainability than most other sectors, which says more about other sectors than it does about tech. So what can you actually do about this? Am I telling you to stop streaming entirely and go back to reading books by candlelight? No, that would be hypocritical since this video is also being streamed. But there are some easy things that actually help. First, lower your streaming quality when you don't need it. Watching on a phone or tablet, standard definition is fine. Your eyes literally cannot tell the difference and you'll use a fraction of the energy. Second, download instead of streaming repeatedly. If you're going to watch something multiple times, and I know you are, download it once instead of streaming it fresh each time. The data only has to travel once instead of every single viewing. Third, turn off autoplay. You know that feature that starts the next episode before you've even processed what you just watched? It's designed to keep you watching, which means more data, more servers, more energy. Take control of your own remote. Fourth, use Wi-Fi instead of cellular data. Mobile networks are less energy efficient than wired connections. If you're streaming at home, make sure you're on Wi-Fi. Fifth, consider your devices. Streaming on a massive TV uses way more energy than streaming on a laptop. If you're watching alone, maybe you don't need the 75-inch screen. Look, I'm not here to make you feel terrible about watching TV. Entertainment is valuable. Relaxation is necessary. And honestly, streaming is still more environmentally friendly than a lot of alternatives, like driving to a movie theater or manufacturing billions of DVDs. The point isn't to stop enjoying things. The point is to understand that the internet isn't some magical, weightless realm. Every click, every stream, every scroll has a physical reality behind it. Cables on the ocean floor, warehouses full of servers, power plants generating electricity. The technology that delivers your entertainment is genuinely miraculous. In milliseconds, my request travels through fiber optic cables, gets processed by servers on possibly different continents, and returns as crystal clear video. That's incredible. That's worth appreciating. But it's also worth being conscious about. Make small choices where you can. Support companies that prioritize sustainability. And maybe, just maybe, watch one fewer episode tonight. And go outside. For more Stick IT, be sure to click the link. And remember, the more you know, the better you tech. So stick with it.